Bibi has a strength that we cannot explain. And I do really believe he's chosen by God for this season. Fall on October 7th and now change the Middle East. And he said this on October 8th, that he will change the Middle East.
Welcome back to InGrace. We are privileged to be able to continue the conversation of what's happening in Israel, what's happening right now with the conflict with Iran and the missiles and the attacks. And again, I'm so happy that Israel has taken this initiative and has done something actually for the freedom of course, Israel, but also for the freedom of others. And to be able to go after this wicked regime and to take out their aspirations for nuclear weapons and even just the missiles that they have that they're aiming at people to eliminate that is amazing. We're going to be talking to an IDF reservist who also is a tour operator. He's my friend, Moshe Gabay. Moshe, how are you?
Good.
And I want to know
Great.
where you are.
I'm here on the Syrian border on the Golan Heights. Since Friday, since we were surprised. So since then again in the reserves. And there's a concern that if now the regime is on the edge of collapsing, that they will activate all their proxies to do a last possible attack here.
Yeah.
So
And so you're on the front
we are-
line. You're on the front line of the proxies of Hezbollah or even Hamas. There's been Hamas operatives in Syria.
Yeah, so there's Hamas and still some Iranian cells in Syria.
Uh-huh.
But yes, they've decreased a lot since Assad fell. So the Sunnites have taken over there. So that, in that perspective, was kind of the turning point, whereby Iran had only its own kind of power left. And none of the proxies anymore. At the moment Assad fell, we realized it all became very fast, because that's the only way now they can, they need to fight by themselves. So, but still, we're just concerned of a surprise attack or the last possible honor they can get or gain themselves now.
Right.
By attacking us here on the borders.
And that's what happens sometimes when you have someone on the ropes, is they know it's about over, so they're going to throw everything they have, as you said, just for the honor of it, and just so they go down as maybe a hero instead of as someone that was defeated.
Yeah.
So you're there protecting your family, the Kibbutz, the whole Golan is full of people, and not just Jews. There are Druze there as well, and there's Arabs that live up there. And we were privileged to be with you a few months ago, touring the Golan with your cool ATVs with our grandkids. And I don't think we ever thought that you'd be out there as Israel is attacking Iran and winning, and incredible things that are happening.
Yeah, it is. I think we're allowed to be as well since October 7th, the first time really in a amazing euphoria. Literally miracles, in front of our eyes. Yes, we know it's costs us a price as well. It's just unbelievable how God leads us in all of this, and we see miracles. So yes, we need to be ready for a surprise or whatever, but I think we are. So we're trusting him that it's gonna get better now, and that this is the last thing. And I really believe that the Arab world will see that we even done it kind of alone. Yes, with the help of the US, but it was Israel's own decision and own battle, and that they won't even think of trying it again, any of our enemies in the future.
No, I feel like the whole world has come to support you, which is so unusual. Usually have so many detractors, but this time I think everyone really knows how dangerous and how wicked Iran is and their regime. And I think certainly The United States is very happy that you're doing this, and you are operating on your own. I mean, this is incredible with the Jewish people that were so close to annihilation so many times. You are like a rising lion, and tell me what you think about that operation name, Rising Lion.
Look, it's just amazing. We had a hint already some some time ago, actually, on Independence Day. There's the Bible quiz, the yearly Bible quiz. It's like it's like the kids, they go on a challenge on TV, and then always the prime minister comes and he asks a question about this verse, rising lions.
Oh,
And it's the story of Bileam
hmm.
cursing Israel,
Well,
and
he
it just
wanted to,
doesn't
yeah, he
work.
wanted to curse Israel, but then the words came out of his mouth, a blessing and some incredible prophecies.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah,
one is that Israel would rise, and here you are rising, and it's just unbelievable. I love how biblical this is, and this should get all of us back to biblical thinking, that God is alive and well. He's promised incredible things to his earthly people, and you belong to that group. And you also are a believer in Yeshua, which is amazing, and I'm so thankful for that. And you are a family man. You're protecting you're literally there protecting your family. You guys are supposed to go to Miami right now?
yeah. We should have been actually landing now in Miami and go to a conference in Miami and then to Christian cruise all together with the kids.
Hmm.
And just nice after I've been 1.5 years in the army, then a little bit out, and now back again. But yeah, it's just finding the joy in all those moments still, and uh, realizing what is important and the family, and as well realizing what we are fighting for. It just if we keep that always in our minds and what we have here in Israel, and all the values and our children and everything that we are fighting for, it's yeah, keeps you motivated in those hard times, and as well trusting God that this is the right thing we need to do now. Um, and yeah, it's as well being thankful that He leads us through this and keeps us safe.
And
So
the Golan is bordering a little bit of Jordan, but mostly Syria. Does the Golan, it doesn't intersect with Lebanon, or does it?
no, we had rockets from Lebanon during now the war with Hezbollah. We have they mainly were shooting more to the big cities,
Hmm.
but we have some army bases here on the Golan. The population is very low
Yeah.
numbers, but we have some major army bases here.
Have you had any
Um,
of the Syrian rockets hitting anywhere on the Golan that you know of, or aimed at?
Small, like small mortars or so came over here. We had the Iraqi militia, the Iranian militia in Iraq has been shooting um, a lot of drones. But it's just amazing. We had here today, we had 2 drones, and it's 1,000 drones Iran shot at us, and not
Mhm.
one hit the target.
How are you
All of
guys?
them shot down.
How are you shooting down the drones? Do you know, or can you tell us?
It's I think we've learned just in this time. First of all, they're different ones. They're bigger because they need to travel for over 1,000 miles. So they're bigger. They're not the small drones from Lebanon. And
These are
as smaller,
like small airplanes, right? Like a 2 or 4 seat
yeah,
airplane size.
they
Yeah. So I know
yeah,
that Israel was having trouble shooting down the drones, which is weird because you guys got so good at intercepting missiles. You think a drone, which is much slower, would be easier, but as I understand it, by talking to one of the scientists with Raphael, the Iron Dome system organization, that since the drones could come in from different angles, it was really hard to track them and to shoot them down. But it sounds like you guys have got it figured out.
It is they pushing the heat level down to a size of a ball. So it shows like a bird in the air, and
Okay.
that was very hard to recognize them. And because in Lebanon they're hitting the target within 5 minutes or some minutes.
Mm. Mm.
Now, if they come from Iran, we have a lot of time. And what is now different than before when Assad fell, we have full superiority on Syrian
Airspace.
uh, uh, airspace. So
Wow.
imagine before Assad fell, Syria was filled with anti-plane defense systems.
Right.
So everything was a problem. It was not so easy to just get an Apache down over to the other side. Now we have here day by day Apaches back and forth taking down the drones already within Syria. So we have much
Amazing.
more depth, bigger
Yeah.
drones
Yeah.
because they need to be bigger, it's further away, and huge rockets. Now I do think we can still be surprised that they have still some rockets, but they
Sure.
have gone down in numbers. Israel just
Okay.
release some of the harsh, like strict rules for the civilians, and they're just it became easier just some 2 hours ago. So it means yes, probably we know they have less, we can still be surprised, but it's a big logistics. It's not like terrorists running around the corner and shooting a rocket from school. It is big trucks that you need to move. That is logistics. You need to fuel them with um, fuel, and then there's the hard fuel of these rockets, and it's
Yeah.
very huge
And
logistics.
Israel,
So it's easier.
Israel,
It's an easier war than Hamas.
yeah, which is interesting. Israel has been really good at taking out the launchers, and once you get a launcher destroyed, you can't shoot any more. Even if you have more missiles, you're handcuffed. And then Israel, how did the Mossad set up a base in Iran?
Look, I read about poem. It's a saying of one of the Iranian intelligence officers that said, "You need 9 bullets for your traitors and only one for your enemy." The thing is that we are dealing with a regime that about 85% of its own population is against them.
Wow.
So we don't probably need to even send so many Israeli citizens over there and be Mossad spies. I do think, yes, they are, but we just today gave a calling out to all the citizens of Iran to be recruited to the Mossad. So
Wow.
everyone wants to be a part of it, and they see it as a mission
Wow.
for their own country to free themselves from this regime. So in such countries, it's easy to gather intelligence and have a network of spies, and that's why
Right.
it's so hard in Israel.
Right.
Yes, you find and you can buy some people who have a hard time or money-wise with some criminals. You can always find in every country, but in general, Israel is one of the hardest countries to spy on because whatever government you have at the end, even if you're left wing or right wing, at the end, we are not ready uh, to to spy for our enemies.
Now, you mentioned left and right wing. I know Israel has been divided, especially before October 7th, 2023, really divided. Israel was unified, but they started to get divided again. This seems to have really galvanized all sides, all Israelis, into one cohesive unit working together. Is that right?
I would say, in general, yes, and even some in the opposition, not the extreme ones, but some in the opposition, like Benny Gantz, the first time he says Bibi does something not for his own survival. So at least something positive. But Benjamin Netanyahu, I think, is one of the world's greatest leaders. He's the longest elected democratic leader ever in world's history. What he has achieved is unbelievable, amazing, and he's giving his whole life for this mission. The Iran mission, he mentioned this 40 years ago when he was a diplomat to the United Nations. And since then, it became his life mission. He never got off this target. He knew that this is going to be existential at one point, and for 40 years. So Bibi is doing his that's his signature on his life project.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that is what he wants to do, to ensure when he goes out of politics, he can say he brought Israel to a safer place and can give a safe Israel for 1, 2, and hopefully 3 generations to come. So,
Yeah, and people that judge Bibi, they need to read his book. I always thought I liked him, but until I read his book and I realized, and I already knew his brother had died in Entebbe, but I didn't realize like his family, his dad was so important for the rebirth of Israel. He almost died in the Suez Canal himself. So it's pretty amazing some of the things that he's done. And this, again, I think is his crowning achievement. Now, whether he can overcome being in charge during October 7th, that is what remains to be seen. He's also still under a trial, which is crazy. But anyways, God bless him for taking this bold move.
I just heard today from somebody I know who is one of the ministers who was in the decision making at night, and he said that when the decision, before they gave the okay over to all the forces and army and intelligence, they read the Psalms together.
Mm,
So
mm,
I and the name of the operation and everything surrounding it, it is Bibi has a strength that we cannot explain. And I
yes.
do really believe he's chosen by God for this season.
Mm,
I have no clue how a man at his age has this strength, physically, psychologically, to go through all of this, fall on October 7th and now change the Middle East. And he said this on October 8th, that he will change the Middle East.
Well,
And
I agree with you, and think about the timing too. I mean, you have President Trump, who's got a full cabinet, people that really love Israel. You have the most amazing ambassador to Israel from the United States you've ever had with Ambassador Huckabee. You guys have already really decimated Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and now you have the ability to loiter over Syria, Iraq, and Iran. It's remarkable. To me, it's miraculous. It's a sign of the end times, possibly, and you're an eyewitness. Let me ask you this: as you're out in these fields at night, you have to be seeing rockets flying over you and interceptions. Do you have any video of that?
yeah, one yesterday, I
We'll
was
play we'll play that video here because
in my,
we've
yeah.
Karen and I were there for a couple days in Jerusalem, and we saw interceptions, and it's unbelievable. It's scary, but are you starting to get used to that? And what does your family feel about like all of this? How are your wife and your kids doing?
At the beginning, the first 2 days, it was hard for our 3-year-old. I mean, we
Mm,
are okay, and the bigger boys are 5-year-old. The youngest is 5. He got in panic the first 2 times, so like really in a panic attack. But he's suffering this less now, but especially at the beginning. On October 7th, he gets nightmares at night, and we
mm,
can't get him out of the screaming. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to get him at all out, and then he always tells about uh, uh, dreaming that he is taken away from his family. So they hear it, and they. But on the other side, at one point we decided they need to learn to deal with that even at that age. I
mm,
know it's not
mm,
easy, but I think it's part of this nation. It's part of life to deal with your fears and know where to put them, and as well where to put them with God. What is me like? I feel people of faith, and not only my messianic community, but especially as well Jewish religious national religious people, those who serve in the army and those who are, the kind of the big majority of religious Jews here. And today I had as well a talk, and I just, there's this positiveness that I
Wow.
don't hear here in the very secular part of Israel. The left wing secular that lives without God has no hope. They, even in such moments where we see miracles, they don't see them, and they see only everything negative.
Wow.
And when you speak to people who have faith in God, here you hear the positive things and the thankfulness to God. So that I really realized as well more today, how much even their school is secular, and they go to public school, but I really want them to learn to see the good in God is doing in all these
Amen. Amen.
difficult situations. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last question. You're a tour operator with Keshet Journeys, and you hosted one of the tours I was on with NRB. You guys did a really, really good job. So anyone planning to go to Israel on a solidarity mission or a tour, look up Keshet. But did you have groups from abroad in Israel on the 13th of June? And if so, what have they done? Because Karen and I and our film crew, we, after a few days, drove to Eilat and drove out to Cairo and flew home. So what's your situation with any groups that you have?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have many groups, as you know, the situation was anyway very harsh with only Elal being able to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But we had 5 groups. We had 2 Americans and 2 Germans, 3 German groups, 2 Americans and 3 Germans, and we got them all out through Sharm el-Sheikh.
Oh, good.
On European flights. All we had put them together, and even some individuals, and we made a post on are there any foreigners in Israel who want to join, and we got some individual people hopping on the bus and get to Sharm. Everything worked well.
That's good.
I mean, it's not safe fully. Yeah, but yeah, it was the best option because we really don't know how long this is gonna go.
Right.
And I think that's the difference of our people to the people we are fighting. When we have 150,000 people abroad and they all want to come back and all are now fighting to get on these rescue flights to come
Amazing.
back to Israel. We're not running away, even not
Yeah.
secular liberal Tel Aviv. And we're all the opposite of the others that evacuate every place and
Well,
have to
think
go.
about this. You're the people of David and Goliath. I mean, you're the people of David, and David didn't run away when he probably should have, but he didn't. He trusted the Lord, and you live in that land, and you're part of that people. So, Moshe, great to speak with you. Our prayers with you and your family and all that you love. We'll continue to ask for a prayer dome over you and for the
Thank
peace of
you.
Israel and for a swift and decisive final victory in Iran. God bless you.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Moshe Gabay, a man that is out there. He's out there in the field at night in the Golan, and he brought up something that I hadn't even thought of. He said, could this be the last hurrah of the proxy groups? And maybe they would try one last invasion of Israel. Now, I think it's kind of unlikely, but it's possible, and I'm glad they're thinking about every possibility because they can't ever let October 7th happen again in Israel. And there he is literally, and his colleagues, standing and fighting for their families, for their children, protecting their wives. They're reservists. They have other jobs. He runs a tour organization, and there he is out there at night with his gun, ready to stop any invasion of any people that are post-Israel. So to get his perspective, I think is unique because he's up in the Golan, and I really enjoy spending time with him. He was part of some InGrace episodes that we did. We did a series with our grandkids where he toured us around the Golan with ATVs on a rainy day. He served us beautiful warm coffee and snacks. And then before that, he filmed with us with Scott Stripling as we were looking for the ancient harbor of Kursi. So you've probably seen Moshe. And another thing is interesting, his brother lives on the Golan Heights as well. He's an IDF reservist. His name is Aaron. So you have Moses and Aaron living up there, and they also know and love Yeshua. So let me end with the words of Jesus. He says, "Come unto me, all ye that are burdened and heavy laden, I will give you rest." So a lot of times we have these weights, and he was talking about his son and the terrors that he was having over the October 7th issues, and now again it's happening. So how do we get through life when we have these heavy weights, these diagnoses of cancer or losing someone or whatever? Like, we have these heavy weights in this life. Well, Jesus said, hey, I want to take that weight from you. I want to carry that. And he can, and he will. And all we need to do is just say, Lord, it's yours. I trust you in this, and I'm going to give this to you. He's teaching his 5-year-old son this. That's a lesson for us to learn today. A lesson from Israel as they're under threat from Iran. We need to continue to pray for Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. And if you don't know Jesus as Savior, he died for your sins. He rose again. He's the Son of God. And if you will believe in him, you will not perish but have everlasting life. Those aren't my words. Those are his. And so I hope that you know him as your Savior today. We also want to make sure you know we have a lot of other great YouTube videos on our InGrace Israel channel. We have a ton of stuff on my evacuation, my wife and I's evacuation from Israel as we were there on that fateful day not that long ago, and God was able to see us through. We were under barrages, we were filming interceptions, we were live for some of this on YouTube, but we got out through Egypt and in our home safe now. But I want to keep going, telling the story with all those people that I know in Israel. We'll keep bringing these to you, and I hope that you've enjoyed today's InGrace special as we were recording a great interview with Moshe Gabay from the Golan Heights. And again, we have a lot of other videos that are Israel related. We tell the story of the miracle of Israel, the archaeology of Israel, how all of this lines up with the Bible. It verifies the Bible is true and accurate. So we encourage you to go watch our Discover Hidden Israel videos. We have all of these, by the way, that you can purchase on our website, ingrace.tv. You can get books and videos and other things there, and you can pay it forward. You can say, hey, I believe in InGrace and their mission to provide pro-Israel content. If you believe in that, we appreciate a donation. Even if it's $5, $10, whatever you can do is fine. We are very careful and frugal with your money. We believe it's God's money. And so we are part of the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability. And if you do give, we will be very careful and wise with God's money. And so you can give at ingrace.tv. God bless all of you. And let me ask a blessing upon your family. May God protect you and richly bless you. And until next time, shalom.